And now for a Next News special report.
Right now, we're peeling back the layers of a story that could redefine the future of American politics. Imagine a scenario where the only strategy left in the political playbook is not about policies or promises, but about imprisonment. That's the shocking reality we're facing, according to the podcast giant Joe Rogan. The Democrats, he claims, have no cards left to play for the 2024 election except one, the potential incarceration of Donald Trump. So what does this desperate move mean for our republic? How far are they willing to go in this high-stakes game? This isn't about one election. It's a crossroad for our nation's very principles. Stay with us as we delve into this gripping narrative because you don't want to miss the crucial conclusion to my final thought. This is more than news. It's a wake-up call for every American citizen. Now, before we unpack tonight's critical story, a quick reminder from our sponsors at the Patriot Gold Group. In these uncertain times where the Democrat strategy hinges on chaos, investing in gold is more crucial than ever. With gold soaring past $2,000 an ounce and our national debt skyrocketing, it's a move as strategic as any political play. Remember when Trump warned about the dollar's precarious status? Well, that is where gold stability becomes your asset. Patriot Gold Group offers a no-fee-for-life IRA on qualifying rollovers. Call 888, the number on the screen, 888-857-9437 right now for a free investor guide. They're rated top by Consumer Affairs, and they're your safeguard in uncertain times. Mention Next News for best-in-class service and secure your future, just like we secure top-notch news every day. Now tonight we're diving into a critical issue shaking the core of our republic. Joe Rogan, a powerhouse in the world of podcasting, recently put a glaring spotlight on the Democrat Party's strategy for the upcoming 2024 election. His bold claim? That their only play seems to be imprisoning former President Donald Trump. It's a striking assertion that raises significant questions about the state of political strategy and the future of our nation's processes. Before we delve deeper, let's take a moment to hear Rogan's words for ourselves. This clip captures the essence of his argument and sets the stage for our discussion tonight. Watch.
If you're not aware, there's people that are working on the homeless. There's like a shitload of them. And some of them, they're making $250,000 a year. And they are not putting a fucking dent in it. They're not effective at all. In fact, the only thing that I saw that was effective.
I do want to apologize for some of the language used here. Of course, this is the Joe Rogan podcast. So we've already had a couple curse words. I'm sure there's going to be more. So I do apologize for that.
At all in stopping the tents and the homeless situation was when Xi Jinping visited San Francisco. Yeah. They fucking cleaned it up like that. Like, you could have done this the whole time.
What do they do to those people? Where do they put those people, you think?
I don't know, but what are they going to do now? Now that Xi Jinping is gone, are they going to like take down the fences and let people camp again? Like, you showed that the overall quality of life of the people that live in that city is not important to you. What's important is the view, the optics. When a fucking dictator comes and visits, which is so wild.
Yeah, I saw, the governor, Gavin Newsom. Do you think I think he's going to run for, I'm just wondering, I try not to get political, but I'm just like, what's going to happen in the next election? I mean, is Biden even going to be able to run? I mean,
I think at this point, they kind of have to run him unless he dies. We have 1 year now. We're in November. We're in late November. We have less than a year. Like, what are they going to do? I mean, you could look if Biden died tomorrow, and then what do they do with Kamala Harris? They're going to put her on the moon? Like, what are they going to do? She's the vice president. So if he dies, she becomes the president, which is fucking wild when you hear that lady talk.
Well, what if like Biden says, like, in, I don't know, May, he says, I'm just not feeling up to it. And then they say Kamala's now the president. She's the first female president. And then she steps down at the convention, and they said, well, let's give it to Newsom. I mean, do you think that's a plausible scenario?
Is possible, but it would be a real problem for people that are Kamala Harris supporters, and believe it or not, they exist.
Yeah, but I'm sure the Democratic Party is just like calculating how
they
big,
have to be.
How big is this, and what's the thing?
I think they have fucking no cards, and they're looking at this game, and I don't know. I think they're depending upon party loyalty. And they're depending upon Trump getting convicted and arrested. I mean, and imprisoned, rather. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't think it is. It doesn't seem to. It just seems like it's a bunch of trumped up charges. No pun intended.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a political commentary. I'm not an expert. It does seem like really like, why are they going after him so hard right now when they could have done it, like the whatever, the hotel thing or the valuation of the property from 20 years ago.
It's bananas.
Right.
The valuation of the property is so obvious, so off what it should be. $18 million for Mar-a-Lago, I'd fucking buy it. I'd fucking buy it immediately. If that shit was $18 million and you were the only one that was able to buy it, you'd be a fool not to scoop it up because you could sell it right away. You could get a loan and you could sell that bitch right away for who knows how much. I mean, I think Forbes valued it. I think it was like well over $700 million.
Wow.
And Trump thinks it's worth over $1 billion. And he might be right. That's what's crazy. It's a giant piece of property in one of the most valuable pieces of land in all of America. I mean, a house next to him, down the street, a much smaller place, sold for 50.
Yeah, so it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make it does make sense if you want to look at Banana Republic tactics.
Yeah,
I mean, when you're imprisoning and trying to convict your political opponents, which is the problem with that is, even if you think Donald Trump is a crook, even if you think that he should be arrested, this sets a precedent for future presidents. If we get someone who's not just Donald Trump, who has a lot of people in the center that say, hey, his economic policies were effective, his foreign policies were effective, even if I think he's a jerk, maybe that would be better to have a jerk run the country in a way that's better overall than what's being done right now. Even if you looked at that, what if someone further right than him steps in? What if a war breaks out? What if things get even crazier? What if nationalism really upticks? Then you have someone who is now in power that is far right, like has happened all over the world. If that happens and that person, if that precedent has been set for prosecuting your political opponents and going after them with trumped up charges, we have a horrible situation. And that's one of the reasons why we have to stick with the rule of law. We have to stick with the way this country was founded on. These principles were set up because they wanted to mitigate corruption at its base level at every step of the way. They wanted to stretch it out so no one could be an authoritarian dictator and run America.
Rogan's critique points to a deeper issue within the Democrat Party, a seeming lack of direction and a reliance on an anti-Trump narrative rather than substantive policy proposals. If his observations hold true, it's indicative of a party caught in a whirlwind of reactive politics rather than proactive leadership. This approach, while potentially galvanizing in the short term, raises concerns about the long-term implications for our political landscape. The implications of the strategy, if true, are deeply troubling, focusing on the imprisonment of a political opponent rather than on policy development or leadership cultivation could set a dangerous precedent. It risks turning our political system into a battleground where legal vendettas overshadow the democratic processes. This is a slippery slope that could have far-reaching consequences for the integrity of our political institutions and the rule of law. The players in this drama are central to understanding the potential impact of such a strategy. At the heart of this narrative is President Joe Biden. Rogan his doubts about Biden's capability to run in the next election due to age and health concerns put the spotlight on Vice President Kamala Harris. However, Rogan's commentary on Harris' perceived inadequacies as a potential presidential candidate raises serious questions about the depth of the Democrat bench. Additionally, the mention of California Governor Gavin Newsom as a potential replacement nominee highlights the apparent confusion and lack of direction within the party. Inserting Newsom into the mix, as Rogan suggests, could be seen as an attempt to rejuvenate the party's image. However, it also underscores a deeper issue of leadership and vision, or the lack thereof, within the Democrat Party. Well, let's go beyond the individuals and consider the broader implications of the strategy. If the Democrats are indeed banking on the legal downfall of Trump as their primary strategy, it represents a seismic shift in political tactics. It's a move away from traditional campaigning based on policy debates and towards a strategy that seems to hinge on the legal entanglement of a political adversary. This is not just a political move, it's a gambit that could redefine the nature of political competition in America. The potential fallout of such a strategy cannot be understated. Rogan warns of a scenario where a more extreme right-wing leader could emerge in response to such tactics. This is a real and present danger, not just a hypothetical scenario. History has shown that when political parties use legal mechanisms to suppress opposition, it often paves the way for more authoritarian figures. So where does this leave the American voter? In a situation where the political discourse is not about policies or the future of the country, but about personal vendettas and legal battles, The voter deserves better than this. They deserve a political environment where the focus is on improving their lives and addressing the challenges facing the nation, not on political score settling. As we look towards the 2024 election, it's crucial that we demand more from our political leaders. We need a vision for the future that is built on solid policies and leadership, not on the potential legal troubles of a political opponent. The focus should be on addressing the real issues that affect Americans every day, not on using the legal system as a political tool in warfare. In conclusion, Rogan's comments serve as a stark reminder of the challenges facing our political system. It's a wake-up call for both parties to rise above the fray and focus on what really matters, the future of our nation. As we move forward, it's essential to remember the principles upon which our republic was founded: democracy, justice, and the rule of law. These are not just ideals, they're the bedrock of our nation. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. Now more than ever, it's important to stay informed and engaged. Your voice and your involvement are critical in shaping the future of our country. In closing, let's reflect on what we've uncovered today. Joe Rogan's insights in the Democrat strategy for 2024 paint a concerning picture for the future of our republic. If the party's plan hinges completely on the imprisonment of Donald Trump, it speaks volumes about the current state of American politics. We're at a crossroads where the tactics of personal destruction threaten to overshadow the noble pursuit of governance for the people. This is not just about one party or one election. It's about the integrity of our political system. It's about preserving the principles of democracy, justice, and the rule of law upon which our great nation was built. As citizens, it's our duty to demand more from our leaders. We must insist on a political discourse that rises above personal vendettas and focuses on the real issues that impact our daily lives. Let's not lose sight of what makes our republic strong: the collective will of its people, guided by the rule of law and a commitment to democratic ideals. This is the heart of America, and it's worth fighting for. So thank you for joining me tonight. Remember to stay informed, stay engaged, and keep striving for the truth. Good night, and God bless America.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.